Let's go to Anthony in Florida, line one. Anthony, I heard you fired up and live and ready to roll.
Good morning, John.
Good morning.
When we talk, I only give you about maybe 5 to 10% of my intensity, because if I gave you 100%, you would melt, or your some of your guests would explode on contact. I would like to say your Jane Meister may have misspoke, because when you asked her, you're like, "Oh, you don't know anything about any fraud or anything like that in your area," and all she did was I heard her blubber a little bit. But you know what? Doesn't she remember during the debate that Trump was saying, like, they're eating the dogs and they're eating the cats? That was in Ohio. So she has two positions. She's a GOP chair and she's a congresswoman, sorry. So she has no idea of any influx of immigrants like the Haitians that are flooding the state. She has no idea, right? Come on. Like,
I didn't ask her about, well, wait a minute, her defense. I didn't ask her about the level of immigration coming into Ohio. I asked her about the level of fraud. And when you're on the public airways, if you don't have if you don't have facts, it becomes allegations, and you have to be very careful, especially as an elected official, about what you say, lest you be sued. So if she doesn't have those facts, then I think she has a right to say, look, I don't know, could be, which is what she said, but I don't have the facts, and we'll dig into it. I thought that was a fair answer. I mean, if you can't allege something, if you don't, I don't know what facts she has or doesn't, but in her position on the public airways, remember, this isn't a podcast. Nothing governs internet, radio, podcast, Megyn Kelly. Nothing governs them. It's the Wild West. You say whatever you want. Tim Cast or whatever these people do, the Benny Show, Joe Rogan, they can say whatever they want because they're not regulated. They're over the internet, which is free and easy, right? Once you go into the public airwaves, you have to follow the guidance of the Federal Communications Commission that granted you that license, which can pull it away if you don't follow the rules. So, I don't know what Jane knows or doesn't know, but like she said 2 times, I don't want to get ahead of my skis. I don't know. Maybe she has some of it, but, it's not proven, or maybe they want to wait and do a press conference. I don't know that, and neither do you.
Right. We want to address, like, no, we're not doing podcasts or anything like that, but the citizenry, which is me, we want to address, like, all the money that's been stolen from us. And the lack of attention kind of makes people intense. So, yeah, I got a right to be ticked off.
Hell yeah, you do.
Because that's a lot of money.
We all do.
People are still suffering.
And we don't know we don't even know what the number is. I've heard 9 billion, then it was 12 billion, now it's 16 billion, maybe it's 15 billion. Nobody even knows. But the thing is, where did it go? Who's got it? Was it shipped overseas? Where's the money? No, and you have, if you're shipping, like there was somebody blew the whistle, one of the TSA people in the Minneapolis airport, that basically said, look, they were shipping suitcases of millions of dollars through the airport. They had to claim this. I mean, because they opened it up. You have to claim this, what it's for, where it's going. Well, who claimed it? Where'd they say it was going? And where is it? And nobody even knows where the money is. But this one guy, I think was Eggers, right, brought up the point. Ken Martin, who's the chair of the DNC, he was the chair of this party. You going to tell me he didn't know what the hell was going on? And then this Keith Ellison videotape where he says, hey, don't worry about the investigation. I got your back. I got your back for what? Fraud? I mean, this thing could implode the whole Democrat Party. We don't know how deep this is, Anthony, but we got to stay on this because I don't even think we're at the tip of the iceberg. And I think it was Jane that said, think about what Jane said, or maybe it was Eggers, one of them, said there was $6 million for, what was it, altruism or something. There was $6 million All of a sudden, it turned into 350 million. I mean, there must have been a tremendous health epidemic there for it to grow 9 million times. Like, nobody said anything. We don't know how deep this went. Did it go up to Biden? Did it go up to his administration? The auto pen? Where did this go, Anthony? How deep did this go?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, but this type of, this isn't white supremacy. I'd like to make a case for that. Like, hey, the majority. You know what? You know what the majority has given us? The Constitution, the Bill of Rights, Christianity, decency, clean streets, a civil society, rules and laws. Not just mob rule. I don't know. I think I kind of like the majority. I kind of like things like that. And we've been very inclusive and very accepting of different faiths and cultures and nations. And what have they done? They've given us the middle finger with one hand and taken our money with the other.
Here's Ohio attorney Meheg Cook confirms massive fraud in Ohio. Roll it.
So these individuals tried to report the fraud that was happening in Ohio and then eventually came to me to say that we're watching providers rubber stamp paperwork for home health. So in Ohio, and there's many states like this, Pennsylvania and other states too, where you can go in and you can say my aging parent needs a home health care and I want to provide it. So the state will, as long as a doctor has approved it, continue to pay you. It could be for 10 hours, 12 hours, up to 24 when it's critical care. So you could sit at home without caring for an elderly parent who really doesn't need it, make about $75,000 to $90,000 a year. Now you add two parents, that's $180,000. Now you add your in-laws, $250,000. You continue to add this and you wonder, what are the services being provided? So a lot of providers came and said, fraud is occurring because we said we weren't going to rubber stamp this paperwork, so they went to other providers. Their home healthcare network saying, we'll make it worth your while. Well, sounds like a kickback to me. So we really need to investigate the Medicaid system and how much it's increased since the Somalian population came and who really needs critical care, because that's meant for our disabled, our elderly, and people who really need it, not to just live off our system. And that's what's happening in Ohio. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's despicable, but authorities are now looking at it from the Attorney General's office to the U.S. Attorney's office. I flagged them all because this is Ohio tax dollars and we have to take it seriously. I'm tired of people telling me, well, this is the way it's always been. It's subjective and we can't really check. No, you can. Audit America, audit Ohio now. And I'm pushing for that in every single state.
They'll do nothing. Anthony, they'll do nothing. The level of fraud and scam, they'll do nothing. I mean, and I know you've been railing against this for some time. There'll be no arrest.
Who do they know? Like, who signed the checks? Who knew it? When did they know? Who signed the checks? Who endorsed it? Who sent the money? It's easy. Who endorsed the checks? Start there and work backwards and forwards. Easy.
It's just, it's unbelievable. COVID, the way the communists and the left took advantage of COVID was unbelievable. Voter fraud, we still have it. That's what really started it to the extent it is now. And now all this money, this $2 trillion Inflation Reduction Act, COVID money, all of this has gone to fraudsters to fund back, allegedly fund the Democrats back. I mean, and like now we're talking about kickbacks. One agency says, well, I really can't give you this without verification. Another agency says, hey, come to me as long as I get a piece of the pie. The abuse and fraud of our hard-earned money is just, it's sickening. And nobody's ever going to do a damn thing about it, dude. Nobody will ever do crap. Okay. I'm going to give you the final word, Anthony. Go ahead.
Yeah, like so. Wait till man dummy. I said it here. When you say man dummy, just say man dummy. Wait till man dummy and his crew get their hands on some federal dollars. Once they get their little commissions and everything going, they'll really show you how the grift works. So until we see, like, if we can Maduro, if we can do that to Maduro, to the communists, which should be done, then we can do it here. We want some accountability. We want some justice. Get it here. Just arrest somebody, please. That's all. Just some accountability. Get rid of Pam Bondi. I know you guys love Pam Bondi, but come on, please. The American people asked for accountability. We voted for it, and I know I get tired of saying it. Can I get some accountability? Can I please? Fraud, waste, abuse. Put some people in jail. It's not that hard.
Nothing, dude.
The Democrats do it
nothing
easily.
Nothing. And look, I like Pam, but everybody's patience now is starting to wear thin. So time's up. We need to do something. Like Trump said, I want to get the money back. Well, where's the money, Mr. President? Like, you want to get the money back. Where is it? We don't even know where the hell it is. No one knows. Did it go into their coffers? Did it go into the Democratic Party of Minnesota? Did it go? No one knows. Did it get shipped out of the country on a boat? No one knows where the hell this money is. It's billions of dollars that no one can find. Over 10 billion. I don't know what the number is. Unbelievable. Anthony, thank you. I'm going to get to Paul in Michigan, line 2. Paul, you're live.
Hey, good morning, John. Yeah, I just to add to your comments there and your discussion with Anthony. I'm sick of these politicians. They just get on here and they say the same old thing. But two comments. First of all, I don't think we should be. Why is it our tax dollars are being used to subsidize child care? Okay, I mean, all these politicians all have their little pet projects and they want to fund this and fund that, and they just keep spending. It's already demonstrated the government cannot manage any of these programs at all. You and I write checks, pay taxes, and the money is just stolen from us. Like here in Michigan, Trump does everything he can to reduce the energy costs. What do the Democrats do? They just slap a tax on it, okay, raise it back up, steal the money from us. But when your guest there said, tried to explain where all this money is going, she should know. I mean, I pretty much think everybody knows. This is a racket, all right? And we're not interested in the 80 people indicted, that low-level, tiny little fish. This thing is well-organized, like a criminal. This is criminal crime going on by the Democratic Party, people in Washington, people in Minnesota. And I think that people we need these criminals arrested and put in jail and stop using these terms like accountable. They're going to be accountable. These people organized. You think these Somalians figured out how to rip off the government? No, this is organized and put together by key people in the Democratic Party. They enabled it. They funded it. This money went from our dollars into these entities, to their LLCs, and then over to NGOs, okay? And from there, there's no eyes on it. The money is gone. Boom. I mean, I've heard reported that the Democratic Party received, at least $30 to $50 million, but that's nothing. That money slipped all over the place, has been used against us, and it's a racket worse than organized crime. And I mean, these politicians, it all needs to be shut down. I mean, people are fed up with it, and I think all the money that goes from the federal government to Minnesota should be stopped and cut off, and Trump should write some kind of executive order and divvy up billions of dollars, whatever all the federal programs are going to be receiving over the next year or two, 5 years, whatever, and redistribute it back out to us, the taxpayers, because we never get whole, okay? All they do is they round up a few little people here and there, but the money is gone. We never see it again, and the programs are never cut. And your guest there said, well, our program's a little bit better in Ohio because, we pay based on, attendance versus enrollment. I mean, what kind of crap is that? So they lied about the enrollment. You can easily lie about attendance. I mean, that's a ridiculous answer. We shouldn't be spending money on these stupid programs. All these spreading money around. Let the private sector take care of these needs and let people use their agency to take care of their own needs. The government is not going to solve our problems for us. And I'm tired of these people taking money out of my pocket and spreading it around to ineffective programs. And that's including foreign aid and every other program that they shove out the door. And that's my rant, John.
It's a good one. It's a good one. I'm going to take one more call, and then I'm going to get to Hugo here in a minute. Paul from Michigan, thank you. Steve in Virginia, line one. Steve, you're live.
Hey, John. Phil Klein has talked about nonprofits and being involved in political things that make a lot of fraud happen. And without even getting into that, I've actually heard that ActBlue is where most of this Somali fraud, Minnesota fraud money is going to. So ActBlue, if you remember, they started back in 2004 as a nonprofit, PAC. And, that is the same year that I heard that a guy that I'd never heard the name before, named Barack Obama, was being fast-tracked to the White House. And when he ran for the Senate seat in Illinois, he was actually supported by he was a candidate for two different parties, both the Democrat Party and the New Party, which is the Communist Party. They call it the New Party. And there's a law that's been enacted since then to make it that candidates can't run for two different parties. But the thing is that he got into office with lots of small donations from the hardworking people. And, nobody was able to ever track where did those donations really come from, because they were, small donations from all over the world as far as what I was told at the time. So ActBlue is, laundering this money. And that's something that should be looked into.
Well, people have been trying to look into ActBlue for some time about some of the allegations that have been made against them. I really am not. I'm not an expert on that. I'm not really privy to those, but the level of fraud. Look, the whole COVID, the whole $2 trillion Biden thing, all that money did was go to left-wing activists. Remember they were sending $2 billion to Stacey Abrams when Trump stopped it just in time. $2 billion to move refrigerators around, basically to give people refrigerators. It's at $2 billion under her control. Billion. These are incredible numbers. This is what they did. They set up a Democratic-controlled infrastructure to get taxpayer money to put them in power, and at our expense. And they, when they steal this money, they laugh and they say, "Yeah, stupid Republicans working two jobs, working a shift, paying taxes. That's how dumb they are. They just keep working and talk about rugged individualism, and we just steal their money. What a bunch of morons." That's what they think of us. They just think we're imbeciles because we're out there working and they're just stealing the money, laughing their tail off. Steve, you're right about that.